Good evening, class. My name is Jordan Austin, and this is Group 5's presentation on Kodak. Kodak was once the most dominant player in the film and photography industry. It dominated the market in the 1900s, controlling 90% of the film market and 85% of the camera sales. But Kodak has been resistant to change, and the digital era has transformed the market. Kodak finds itself stuck with assets and employees no longer relevant. Here is a look into the external and internal factors affecting Kodak, presented by my teammates Quincy, Desmond, Steven, and Terrence.
Alright, some external factors that affected Kodak. Economically, with the recent recession in 2008, they reported their lowest net income to date, and this will also be due to the fact that they haven't. Socially, consumers enjoy posting quick snapshots to social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram instead of taking pictures with cameras, digital cameras, and traditional film cameras. And consumers look for quick feedback and interaction with their photos nowadays, and they post their daily current happenings through these social media outlets such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Technologically, photography has changed from film to digital cameras, which want to edit and store photos quickly and post them to social media devices, inkjet printing, digital cameras, and software applications.
Next up, we're going to talk about the Porter analysis. All of Porter's 5 forces are changing, with bargaining power, bias, and threat of substitutes being most prevalent. Since photography is becoming integrated across many more platforms, for example, electronics, digital printing, and media, consumers are offered many more choices in the marketplace. Pictures are no longer taken just on film or digital camera. Cell phone producers will continue to capture the market with photography taken on smartphones as well as camera phones. Personal computers and printing companies such as HP also share the market as photography is a vital part of their business as well. In the future, consumers will continue to see applications that incorporate photography and use of things in unique views, which will rival printing. Opportunities consist of consumers' desire for digital photography. There will be a strong market for photography integrated with applications and social media. Consumers' ability to print out 3D objects is also a developing market. Consumers are always looking for new technology and are quick to jump to the hottest new trend. However, threats in the industry start with the consumer's desire for change. Consumers in the future will not use film. The film market is becoming extinct. The number of competitors in this industry will continue to increase, and since the product life cycle is so short, companies will be forced to keep up with the changing environment.
Kodak sales have dramatically decreased. ROA fell into the negative because Kodak owned many of its assets, and with the market shifting, many of the assets that Kodak owned, they weren't turning any profit off of them. This resulted in Kodak suffering a decrease in market share as well. Many of the companies in the photography industry were able to create value, but no company had an ROA of above 10%. And this was due to the low barriers of entry into the market, which created much competition for Kodak, and as a result, they were struggling. Kodak used a low-cost structure, and so their products were much cheaper than some of their competitors, but as a result, the quality of these products was not good enough for Kodak to compete in this market. Also, this resulted in low customer responsiveness.
Strengths and weaknesses of Kodak. They have a strong brand name. Even though they've been struggling recently, a lot of people still know the Kodak name and brand. Global distribution presences. Kodak has many suppliers and distributors around the world that distributed their products before. This is something that they can still use to their strength when they find a new way to differentiate themselves from their competitors. And respect. Many people will still know their brand name and they still have a strong brand equity, and this has resulted in them still having the 3rd largest market share in this industry, even though they're not the top dog in this industry anymore. Weaknesses, innovative products. Kodak has gone to a low cost structure, which means their quality has suffered, and many of their products don't have the features that some of their other competitors, such as Canon, Nikon, and Fuji have. Slow response to demand. Their demand has decreased significantly over the last decade, and Kodak hasn't done anything to combat this decrease in demand. Resistance to change. It took Kodak a long time to shift from traditional film to digital cameras. Their reasoning behind this was that the traditional films are earning gross margins of 60%, and it was a cash cow for the company. But because the industry changed so quickly, they didn't adapt in time, and now they're in the predicament that they're in. Their low cost structure, which deals with the quality of their products. A lot of their products are cheaper than that in the industry, and is perceived as being cheaper by the consumers. And their old reputation, many people view Kodak as a company that used to make film and not one that makes inkjet printers and digital cameras. Key strategic issue of Kodak. Kodak is in the technology industry, but they aren't proactive in changing their strategies and being innovative. Their products are perceived as cheap, and Kodak as a company is perceived as old. This has allowed a decrease in their market share, decrease in sales, decrease in ROA, and decrease in value created by the company. Strengths, opportunity matrix. For the strengths and opportunities, they have a strong brand name still, which they can use to spark the next big trend that comes in the technology industry. Opportunities and weaknesses. Consumers desire new technology, but Kodak traditionally has responded slowly to the changes. So for the opportunity for the future, they're going to have to change the strategy up and become more innovative and responsiveness to the customer's needs. Strengths and threats. There are many competitors that can enter this industry. The barriers to entry are low. There's a lot of substitute products. But Kodak still has a name that is recognizable by many consumers. And threats and weaknesses. Their resistance to change and development has caused them to be in the predicament that they're in. And if they don't respond to the next big thing and don't learn from their mistakes, then they're going to continue to plight. And our alternatives and recommendations. First alternative is to focus on research and development. Try to find out the next big feature that you can add to cameras and technology, printing. And then second alternative is to focus on inkjet printers and cartridges. You know, Kodak sells their printers at a very high price, higher than their competitors. Their cartridges are significantly lower than that of the competitors. And as many of you know, it's not the printer that costs you most money when you buy a printer. It's the ink that comes with it, because you have to keep replacing the ink every year. And for our recommendation, we recommend that Kodak focus on research and development and improving their products and differentiating themselves from their competitors. And that is our presentation.
Thank you, class, for listening to our presentation on Kodak.